Wait a minute.
Y'all crazy bitch. R-D-I-V-O-R-C-E. You gotta fight. A brown-eyed girl.
I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce. My name is Denny Browens. I will be your quarterback for this afternoon, this morning, this evening's festivities. You choose. It's a You Choose podcast. To my left, I have my ex-wife, Jamie.
You ruined everything, you stupid bitch. You ruined everything, you stupid bitch. You're just a lying little bitch who ruins things and wants the world to burn. Bitch, you're a stupid bitch.
And lose some weight. Say hello, Jamie.
Hello, I am down 11 pounds.
You are?
Mm-hmm. Just so you know. Why are you laughing?
What you talking about?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Braden's losing his shit, and I
Braden-
really don't know why.
Cha-ching.
In between stepmom number 2 and stepmom number 3,
I'm getting divorced in the evening.
it's Braden Browen. Say hello, Braden.
Hello.
What are you laughing so hard at?
What is so funny?
He is going crazy.
We interrupt this podcast because there's clearly other things going on. And now, back to our regularly scheduled show.
All right, I'll have to edit this out.
Yeah, I don't know what he's...
Across from me, it's my beautiful wife, Amanda.
Make you realize, Amanda. I'm gonna tell you right away. I can't wait another day, Amanda. I'm gonna say it like a man and make you understand, Amanda. I love you.
Say hello, Amanda.
Hello, I was dancing like Piper Marie, and I realized it.
That's because Piper Marie is beautiful. How are you this evening, Mandy?
Stop it.
We'll talk more about that in a minute. And from the dungeon on the other side of town, it's Brandon Clark.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of means. Then along come two, they got nothing but the genes. They got different strokes and things, different strokes and things.
Say hello, Brandon Clark.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? Ooh, I was a little hot there. I popped a little bit. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
God.
Hey,
You
don't
wanna
do
start
that,
over?
or he'll make us start over.
Braden, let's start over because I'm popping. Let's start it over from the top,
Absolutely
guys.
not.
From the top.
It took him so long to find the
Braden-
same goddamn intro.
Is still laughing.
Dude,
Something's
I
going on there.
melted down. I'm so sorry. Hello,
Jeez.
everyone. Hopefully, Pop can put this in somewhere.
My goodness.
Super
So-
sorry for that.
Here's the deal about tonight.
For such a great interview, for such a great podcast show that is coming, we are just we
We
have
fell
like
apart.
a diamond and we put it in a turd box, and now we're like, you just got to open it, folks. Get past
Just get
this
through
part.
all the stink.
Just
So
like right now,
here
hit the
is
little
the
button
deal.
thing and drag it forward like about 10 minutes.
15
and then you'll be
probably.
good. Maybe 15. You know?
So here's what we'll do.
Was that me? Did you fucking
Oh, he has so many sound bites. You haven't gotten to witness all that.
What's the matter with you?
Guest that was nice enough to come on the podcast. I'm sorry for what you've just had to listen to.
what the, yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah.
So
She said she was going to have her kids listen to this.
I
Come
know. We'll probably have to fix that. So this week, as we've been talking, we brought back a favorite, Deborah Hanlon, author of In the Presence of Proof.
And she did not disappoint.
She did not.
No.
I would bear to say, or I think this one was better than our first discussion.
Oh, there was so much. There was so much. I was
Amanda
so
got
excited.
deep.
I was so
Oh, yeah, she
excited.
did.
This is kind of my wheelhouse. I don't know anything about it. She spent years researching it, and this is all just random thoughts that I've had. So I don't know what that really says about
I think
me.
that's why you find it so fascinating
What's your
because you're
notepad
like,
say?
ooh, I
Not
thought
my
about
thing.
that, and you know,
Yeah,
and-
like it's a path I've gone down. Now, the really cool part for me was at the end when we talked about deja vu. I never really understood.
yeah,
Like I didn't know that I experienced, but when she started talking about it, I said, I had that one time. The scenario I gave, I'm not going to give it ahead of time, but when she talked about how that is out of 1,000 possibilities, that one moment was always going to happen, no matter where you ended up. That is so cool to me. Like I see
That's
it
why
in
you
my
feel it,
brain.
yeah.
Like I see it as a picture.
yeah.
It's really cool.
I like how you were
Super
so
excited.
descriptive that the person lived in a mobile home.
Because I see her
That was
walking in the
great.
door. I
loved
see
it
her
when she
walking
went-
in.
It was, you know what it reminded me of? It was like, remember the old Chris Farley Saturday Night Live thing? She was like, hey,
Down by the river.
so this one time back in 1995, I was with my friend. And I was staying in his mobile home, and I was living in Oklahoma.
No, because I always thought deja vu to be different, like that I dreamt it and now it's here.
See, I
But-
always thought like, oh, I've never experienced that, but I don't know why I've been thinking about her because it's like the minute I met her, I said, I've seen your face 1,000 times.
Mhm.
I've never met you. I've never encountered
Maybe-
someone
is
that
it
looks
possible
like you.
she had a doppelganger?
No, I have never seen her anywhere else, and we didn't spend.
That's a cop
it's-
out right there. That's a cop out.
No, because it's possible. Like that's what I thought. I said, oh, maybe
Really?
you look real familiar.
Really? That's a cop out answer.
But it
like
wasn't
she
that.
was saying, like every one of us has, like everybody has kind of one of those kind of odd stories. Most of us kind of explain it away. There's coincidence, or I've got a couple weird ones like that. But you just that just weird things happen sometimes.
Yeah, it
but-
doesn't matter. Maybe I just need to eat. That's why I feel that way. That's
No, I
normally
don't
my
think that's
problem.
it.
Saying, like she comes out
Am
of
I
this,
in
no,
trouble
those
right
are
now?
not-
No.
those are not those weird things.
Mhm.
That those are
This
you
is
know,
what
the
it is.
energy that you're feeling, and there is an logical explanation for it. So
Right.
it's kind of neat to hear that,
A
and to understand
scientific
it.
explanation.
and
Once
that we all kind of have that everybody's kind of has that if they just would kind of stop and
Recognize
listen,
it.
learn it and tap into it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
kind of
that's-
the neat part.
And that's the cool thing about what Deborah does is it's not so much about reading around you. At one point at the end, you'll hear me
It's-
talk about the questions that mediums always get asked, and you can just see her every time. Ugh. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
it's every time.
Because it's such small thinking, but really that's just a tiny piece of the paper. And the idea behind everything that she does is so much more grand
Mhm.
in the scale of our understanding and our existence and how we see nature and ourselves and everything coming together. All of it.
Yeah.
Super
There's
exciting.
crazy stuff she talks about, but how long do you think we could sit and talk to her?
I could talk to
Wow.
her forever.
Oh.
I
Long
could
time.
too.
I'm kind of hoping like we get like some really good listener emails
Questions,
from
feedback.
this
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, we're
we
gonna
can have her
ask for
back
that.
and actually get maybe some
Oh, yeah.
interactive Q&A.
Oh, that'd
with
be
some
cool,
listener
yeah.
comment.
All right. So let's move on to what is quite possibly one of our best discussions of all time. Hope you enjoyed this discussion with Deborah Hanlon. We'll catch you on the other side.
called, please hang up and try again.
And now, on with the show.
Well, here we go again with an all-timer, right? It's an all-timer. It's one of our most talked about episodes we've ever had. Yeah. It is one of our most favorite episodes we've ever had. And I will be honest.
One of my most favorites.
It is also one of my most. I had
it's
maybe
my favorite that I wasn't on.
Well, that's true. With us via Zoom today, whenever you're listening, it's one of our favorite guests, Deborah Hanlon. Hello, Deborah.
I love that introduction. I'll take it any day.
Well, you are very deserving
so
of it.
As a repeat guest, she's officially now a friend of the show.
That's I think she, you know what? I asked before we got started. I said, "Do you remember us?" And she was like, "Yes, I remember you." I'm still trying to decide if she was lying.
She was being very polite.
Nope, because I
remember that
asked
guy.
people to say, I had someone come up to me the other night and say, "Do you remember who I am?" And I'm like, "No, I literally don't." So I will tell you.
So how many podcasts, let's just start right there. How many podcasts and how often are you brought onto podcasts and different things like that?
I'm mostly on radio shows, believe it or not, still. So I know we forgot that radio exists, but I do a lot of radio. But podcasts, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a feast or famine thing. All of a sudden I'm being asked a lot and then it's quiet for a while. Yeah. That sort of thing.
I think I kind of understand that. So you'll remember Deborah. She was with us. It was actually it was the fourth quarter of last year. And she is the author of In the Presence of Truth, or Proof. Sorry, not Truth. In the Presence of Proof, and A Medium's Guide to Creating Heaven on Earth. Deborah, just brush us up. What does that mean? What is the book about? And just give us a brief, tell us about it.
Yeah, and you can cut me off at any time because brevity is not my strong suit. The book is written about the fact that I'm a medium, and as many times as I say that and describe myself as that, I still kind of cringe a little bit inside because I know the misconceptions that are out there about mediumship, which I completely understand. So I am very much proof-based. To me, I started my life off trying to almost prove that mediumship isn't true, that life does not go on after we die. And I was really in search of trying to figure out psychologically, what is it that humans need to create this thought of an afterlife? Because of a passing that I experienced when I was very young, that I always felt that my brother was around. And I always thought, am I just making it up to make myself feel better? Very long story short, I receive proof of an afterlife all the time. And here I was trying to find, what else could this be? What else? Are we just trying to make ourselves feel better? Is it really not them my whole life? So I am in the presence of proof of an afterlife every single day through everyone I sit with and do a reading. Because every time, and I've read 20,000 people over the last 20 years, every single time I sit down with someone new, I still say, okay, prove it to me again. Wow. Every single time. So I've received my proof more through everyone else than even my own connecting with my own loved ones, which also has strong proof behind it.
So
the book is about that.
You mentioned something that I wanted to reiterate from the last time we had you on, that you had a brother that died at a very young age. Is that right?
Yep. He was 4.
He was 4. And how old were you at the time?
Only 3.
Okay. So yeah, pretty young, but still. How often would you say you feel his energy still?
I actually don't feel his energy. I usually teach people about what is the language that you have with each loved one. So I have a language with him, or winks or signs, or just ways that I know that his consciousness is around me, but I wouldn't say I feel him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel a grandfather who passed. I feel, but my brother, I never feel. I just know he's there.
Do you think that's in part if you were only 3 and he was 4, you can't remember him, you can't know him as he was when he was alive, because you wouldn't have remembered any of that?
That's a really great question and great point. I would say no, only because I did think that too, but I have a very strong connection to a grandfather that I also never met. And I can feel him. And I feel such amazing, warm, connected vibes with this man. And there is not a nice story about him in our whole family. He was like very mean alcoholic, but I have such a strong connection with him. So to me, I know, again, I'm like, nope, I don't make this up, because why would I feel him when there's nothing kind said about him except from me?
Wow. So
why do you think that is? Why do you think you have that connection to him?
I ebb and flow on that question, because I was just away with my father. This is my dad's dad, last week. And I had a very strong experience with my grandfather while we were away, which is not a regular occurrence. But I was with my dad and I brought it up to my dad, and he's like, you are the only one that says these things about him. And I adore this man, which sounds so bizarre, but it's like I get him. But why is it him that I feel so much? I have no idea.
Maybe because he, if your family has a lot of negative, he's trying to kind of make up for what they're saying. Maybe he didn't mean it that way, or it was perceived that way, but that's not his intention. And so he's trying to use you to clear his name, maybe?
I think maybe it goes both ways, as far as, because I do think about this every once in a while. I also think it comes to the fact, like, if I were going to make up having a connection with someone, I would never choose him. Mm-hmm. So I think it's also like a little bit more of my proof of like, I am so not making this up, because why would I pick him? I have so many other people that it would make more sense for me to have a connection to them than him. But it is so strong. I wrote about it in my book, about how he came to me the first time. And it's just... I have the most profound experiences with him.
Now, you are able to shut it down. Is that right? Like, if you want to be, I don't know how else to say it, left alone, you can do that, right?
Totally. Absolutely. And I really want people to question people who say they can't, because that is part of the skill. That is part of the art of this. And if you don't shut it down, that means you're not grounded. You're not living a normal human life. You're not going through regular, foibles of life and getting totally pissed off at stupid things and, regular life. You're not a grounded human being. Or either this is my interpretation, of course, or there's a disconnect to your physical life that you are escaping into doing this all the time.
Mm-hmm. So do you have to shut it down a lot, or do you just, when you're ready, you turn it on and then...
It's a light switch. It's sort of like, and it's a matter of focus. So right now I'm focusing on our conversation, and at any moment I can go, okay, now I'd like to focus on this other... I don't want to use the word realm, because people think like realms and dimensions and sci-fi movies. It's just another level of awareness that we all have. We all have this. You are doing it all the time. You have no idea that you're doing it.
How long did it take you to be able to do that? How long did it take you to get comfortable with that sort of switch?
With the switch, a few years for sure, 6, 7 years before I felt comfortable with that. In the very beginning, I always had it on, so to speak,
right?
Because I was so excited. Like, I just wanted proof. Like, oh my God, I wanted to read that person, that stranger, this one. Now, no way.
That had to be exhausting.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, when you're at home, you're at home.
I wanted to just briefly touch on something you said last time, because if somebody didn't listen, I think it's important. You talked about how kind of Hollywood and the way that we perceive mediums, when I think of it, I think of like Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, with a big line of people behind her, and she's saying, okay, is there a John here? Where, but when you describe it, I don't want to say it's abstract, but it's much more about that energy, not so much, even the person per se, or in an appearance way. It's more just kind of that energy that left that shell, almost is how I perceive it. And that's kind of what you're tapping into. Does that make sense, or is that
totally? And that's super astute of you to hear it. Like, as I intend it to be heard, because
hear
people
that? I was just-
are thinking.
Let's not get carried away, Deborah. Come on.
Well, that is essentially it. And I feel that if we understood it in a way that Hollywood has massacred the way this is really there and available to us, and Hollywood has made this seem like something so that it's not, which actually disconnects all of us from it. Because it's not that. It's not the penny up the wall and Ghost. It's not the line of people behind Whoopi. And it's not that. But we're looking for it to be that. And so when we don't have that experience, we go, yeah, my loved ones aren't around me. It's not that. It's because it's not that. That's not how we experience it.
Do you think that's why people don't really find a way in it, because they don't see it like Hollywood?
100%. 100%. They're not understanding, we're all energy, and we have mistaken ourselves as, the beings that we are. There's Denny, there's Deborah, there's Mandy, there's, all of us here. And we stick with that identity. But what we really are below that, underneath that, is this vibration of energy, this chord that we briefly spoke off air about, frequency. That's what we really are. We're all vibrating at a different level.
Yeah. That's one of the things I liked. Another thing you talked about was how you come at it at a scientific level, and we're talking about quantum physics and matter, and the fact that, matter never truly goes away. Everything that is has always been and always will be. It just takes different forms and different, and when you combine that, that's what human beings are. We're matter and energy, basically. And when the matter changes and the energy flows into something else, it's not out of the realm of possibility or rational thought to think maybe you can connect to that energy again or communicate with it.
What I find to be truly astounding about you, Deborah, and it looks like I'm in trouble with my wife.
I've just been trying to step in.
But and we'll get back to you, Amanda, I promise. But
yeah, Mandy, wait your turn.
The idea that you're not so much about these readings. You'll do them, and it's something that you're passionate about, I believe, but you want to help others do it themselves, right? So your mission is not to, hey, come to me, I can help you, but your mission is, here, let me show you how, because you can do this on your own. How close am I?
1,000%. And that's where everyone's missing the mark as well, because I tell people, like, yes, yes, sometimes we absolutely just need that reading because we just need the edge off, of I just need to know my loved ones are okay. So that's one area. But if we could have a source where we're tapped in all the time, I could give you a lifetime or I could give you an hour. Yeah. Why would you
that's
choose
powerful,
an hour?
isn't it?
Yeah,
that's powerful. You can
crazy.
do this for the rest of your life, or you can do it while you're talking to me.
Yeah.
And it seems silly. It seems dumb to me to choose the hour. And yet sometimes the hour is like we can only get by in life minute by minute. So the hour is valuable and the hour is a lifetime. So there's a space for that. But I always tell people, if I could show you what else we can do, that to me is like
if I could speak from the other side for a minute, not like the other side that you're talking about, but
we can arrange that.
Side.
I was like, oh.
I'm going to do something totally different on this podcast.
I am going to help.
Does for science.
I got your back.
No, what I'm talking about, well, you won't forget this podcast, is you probably, I would have to say, you make people feel safe when doing it, and maybe more trusting that it's actually happening since you're the one kind of quarterbacking it. You know what I mean? Maybe if I'm sitting here thinking, all right, I'm picking up someone over here, I'm probably not. You know what I mean? Whereas you're like, okay, hey, there's a rabbit and it's upstairs and it's by a tree. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that the reason it feels so real coming from you, I can't say real, but is because you're not sitting here saying, okay, well, let me just give you an hour of my time. You're saying, let me teach you so you can do it whenever you want.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
No.
That was
That's exactly what I said.
Thanks, Alex. That was great.
No, I know, but it makes it feel like it's
Like
real,
it's
almost
it's-
like they're
it's
safe.
tangible.
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
like it's more tangible.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Good. And that's the point. Again, it's like, why would I give someone just an hour because ultimately I want to live in a world where people feel good. I want people to feel empowered. I want people to genuinely feel connected to themselves, to each other in a genuine way, not in a Pollyanna way, but a genuine way. That's my thing. That is
That's
all
your
I
calling.
live for. It's what I was born for. So to me, it's like a disgrace almost to only offer the other.
Yeah.
When there's all this available to people.
other people just take advantage of you. Oh, you want to hear I'll tell you about it, and they fumble their way through it, and
Yeah. And they just want to collect a check. Hey, give me $1.99 for,
yeah, and
whatever.
she cares more about
Getting you there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amanda.
So I don't remember exactly the question that I had formed from a hot minute ago.
Sorry.
From a hot
Come back
minute
to you
ago.
then. Next.
But we were talking about like the Hollywood perception of it, and I've always kind of explained, and I think kind of what we were wanting to segue into and what we're wanting to talk about tonight. When you kind of look at the religion side, for me, I've always looked at, people struggle with what happens after we die because there's this concept of our body and who we are and all of that being the same thing. And okay, that's buried in the ground. And I've always said, people talk about like your candle being burnt out or snuffed out. It's probably not a good term, but, your candle being the light of the candle. Well, the candlestick's still there, and that's how people perceive themselves. But the actual idea is that there's nothing really there. It just moves on to smoke.
Okay.
My analogy for the day. I had a question that went with that, and you guys completely blew it, and so now I'm very angry, but it was a good thought. So please move on to the other side of it.
No, I mean, you were right on. I agree. And
Nope.
this is, Deborah, do you mind if I play something for you, for everybody?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one.
I just want to get your take. Would that be okay?
Please do, yeah.
So what I'm going to play, and I'll share my screen so everybody can see it as well. But I want this is what you're looking at. This is David Straight, and I don't own this. It's on. I found this on YouTube, and I just ran across this accidentally last week. And
On TikTok.
while I was on TikTok, and I was already thinking about our discussion that was coming up this week. And when I saw this, and he says something specifically, it really surprised me. So you'll understand why, but I'm going to go ahead and go. Here we go.
Our calendar is not quite right. We're supposed to have 13 months of 28 days, with one day, the day of resurrection, Easter, as a neutral day. That's our 365 days. We've actually got 13 constellations, not 12. This same calendar is very close to the Mayan calendar, but it's also very close to several ancient Sanskrit calendars. What does sept mean? Seven. I thought that was the 9th month. What does oct mean? What does nov mean? What does dec mean? It's supposed to be the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th month. Jan is 11. Feb is 12. March is 13. April is our first month. Babies are born in the spring, the 1st of April, Easter. This is the start of our new year. This is the start of spring when the flowers start coming up, the grass starts coming up, the trees start leafing out, the babies are born. That's the first day. Our neutral day, day one, the day we rest and celebrate the resurrection, the new beginning, the beginning of Christ. April is month one. And then we lost a month in there. Where is it? What's it called? We know what it's called. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but we know what it's called.
I still don't know what it's called.
Calendar. The Gregorian calendar is SMU. Ship made up by man. to keep us out of our natural cycles. We all vibrate at one of 3 frequencies. Did you know that? Okay. 432 hertz is the God frequency. That's the celestial frequency. And we have a telestial and a terrestrial frequency. Darn right. She says that why when people are true, we can feel it and we can sense it. We know that it's right. You know, we don't even have to research it. We know, we can feel it. We feel it in our bodies and our spirits and our souls, and we know it's right.
By the way, 528 hertz is the love vibration or the DNA healing vibration.
By the way, 528 and 633 and 432 are our 3 frequencies, okay? So it depends on whether you're celestial, telestial, or terrestrial. That's 60. 60. What is, 5G. What is our clock's been running at? 60. All of our electricity, 60. We've been under Satan for a long time. This is a satanic frequency. It's really celestial, telestial, and terrestrial, believe it or not. Our church teaches us as 3 degrees of heaven, but it's really our 3 frequencies. Our souls are energy. The energy holds our minerals together, which is our bodies. Our bodies are nothing more than the dust of the earth, held together by energy, by our souls. So anyway.
All right, so I'm going to stop it there. Now, before I ask any other questions or talk about that at all, and thank you for watching that with us, Deborah, can you give me just your take hearing that for what I'm guessing is the first time?
Yep, it's totally for the first time. I'm familiar with the different megahertz and the hertz and the heart, love energy, the God frequency. I've heard all of that. To me, it's still like when he talks about man-made and the time of Christ and the calendar, these are all still human concepts. So we are trying to still, and there's no way out of this, but I want people to be aware that anytime we talk about this, energy, frequency, the nature of who we are putting man-made concepts, because it's the only way we can explain it, which naturally limits it and makes it not totally the way it is. So language itself, words, description is not going to ever touch the true explanation of the beingness of it. So these explanations are still very human. You know, the Nov, the September, October, November, those
are all words that we just made, that somebody made up.
Exactly. Like oct means 8 because somewhere along in language we associated the OCT with the number 10, but that's not in nature. Like you will never find a tree going, oh, it is October. So I always look to nature. Like, what did nature say? Nature's not going to say, oh, it's October. Nature just does its thing, and it's in its beingness. And it is vibrating in its beingness. And our interconnectedness is what will change or shift or determine our frequency as we work together.
I've always felt that like the human need for language is actually what limits us, because there's only so much that you can put into words. You can't necessarily put a feeling into words. We can try and describe it, but then it becomes just the word, and that may not be all encompassing. So, sorry?
Totally, 100%. And don't forget, like at some point, thousands of years ago, we didn't even have language. But we developed a skill and an ability to communicate and convey concepts, right? That's language. So let's take that and evolve that in 1,000 years. We're so blinded by like, this is how life is now, and it's 2022, and this is the way our planet's arranged. And we're so embedded in that reality that we are forgetting that, wait a minute, in 1,000 years from now, our language skills will absolutely have evolved just like they have been, and it will be by thought alone. We will connect and communicate by thought alone. That's what mediumship is. It is connecting through consciousness, thought.
Wow.
That is what this is. So we can talk about it, but we all have to understand that the moment we talk about it, we've already limited it and made it not close to how grand and amazing this really is.
Wow.
But we can feel it, and we can feel it without description. I'm sure we've all had some sort of powerful, profound experience of any sort. It could be like a spiritual experience. It could be an emotional experience. And we could all connect and relate to the feeling of a profound experience without ever having to talk about it. We could connect on that truth.
Could I tell you one of the more profound experiences of my life?
Yes.
Please.
It was the last time I talked to you. And
they called me. I was in a hotel in North Carolina. They called me and they said, "Did you listen to the podcast?" No. Well,
thanks for your support, son. I won't be calling you anymore.
I mean, they so it was Pop, Amanda, and Jamie both on the phone explaining it to me, and for a second I was like, "Come on." But the things that they told me couldn't have been made up or known.
Let me tell you what I did, and this is usually my MO, Deborah, is I set him up to not believe.
Mm-hmm.
I set him up by, hey, guess what happened?
Yeah.
And then when I went in,
well, no, a matter of fact, you're wrong. I've never heard that tone in your voice.
No, we were all so excited and
they called me. I'm in North Carolina. It's the dead of the night, and my dad's calling me. I'm like, what could he possibly want? And like the tone of his voice alone, I was like, well, something is off. Yeah. Something's not wrong. Something's not right. It's just something is off. And then, they just start talking about it. And then, didn't you tell me that thing about Grandma Vicky?
Yeah.
You told it last though, didn't you?
Yeah, I let you have the idea that it's not true.
Yeah, I think I listened to yours first, and then with your grandma, and then you were like, and now get this.
Yeah. So
in true Denny fashion, you had to roll it out like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing wrong with how I communicate. I want you all to know that.
Got a little flair for the drama.
Go ahead, Pop.
But I mean, you're sitting in New York. We're in Rucherville, Indiana, and you tell me about something that, without Google Maps at the exact right time, there is no way you would know.
Oh, even
almost
then
verbatim.
you wouldn't be able to see it.
Almost verbatim of what I was told that night. Like he said, "Oh, dude, she didn't know anything about any of this, and she told me this." And I said, "No, she didn't. Stop." And then
I don't even remember this.
But the tone in his tone in his
this
voice.
Has literally happened to me 20,000 times.
But and I bet it has. But in my short experience of all of this, the tone in his voice, I was like, "Oh shit."
Well, because I went in as I wouldn't say I was a non-believer, but I was skeptical. And what I wanted you on the show for, Deborah, was to educate me. Mm-hmm. And I listened to every word you said as you were saying it on the podcast, and I bought in. You had me. Yeah. But I'm getting, okay, I really appreciate all your time. Hey, let's get her out of here. She agreed to an hour. We're at an hour and 10. Let's let this poor lady get back to her life. And, hey, would you like for me to tell you what I feel around you? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And
what we're really here for, yeah.
And
absolutely. No, it was
because I didn't expect it.
Insane.
I didn't expect it. Mm-hmm. Jamie started crying immediately.
Usually she does. So
yeah, but I mean, but
did you tell her? Because I don't remember the exact, but she explained to you that your grandmother, that Jamie's grandmother was upset about something that was in a spot
that we kept.
And you didn't, at the time you were talking to, you didn't even realize what she was talking about.
No, it took us a minute to figure
later
it
figured out.
Yeah. My mother told
exactly
me
what
it was her ashes on the shelf next to the angel.
I remember that phone call very vividly, and I tried to listen to this podcast again, but I still remember that phone call. He said, in Pop's usual manner, he said, "You remember that bunny by the tree out back?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, well, Deborah knew about that bunny. And I said, come on. And then he broke it down, even farther, like, dude, you don't see that on Google Maps. That is, I've never put that anywhere
like she's actually sitting on Google Maps.
On social media. I've never put that anywhere in the whole world. And, there's still jokes about it to this day, but it was, and like, I got goosebumps when you told me, and I know you guys did too, but even over the phone from you guys, from her, from Deborah, I was like, dude, she told you about the bunny that Grandma Vicky put out there?
I do remember saying something about a bunny or a rabbit. I do remember that.
You said there. I'm seeing a rabbit,
and that's all I had to hear. That was actually the only clue I heard. It was, do you remember that bunny?
That's all you needed to know.
Yeah.
And when you said that, you took me back.
That's
Deborah.
what I mean. It gives you it's tangible.
Yep. When you said that, I was no longer skeptical.
Mm-mm.
And I have always felt like I've always considered myself intuitive. I can tell you something's coming. I might not be able to tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that we're able to call super easy.
Like a playbook.
I think
Madden.
it's intuitive, really.
Mm-hmm.
But so let's get back to the video, though. Are you surprised to hear some of the similarities between what he's talking about and what you've learned?
Surprised? No. It's not the first time I have heard of the 13-month calendar. I have they're not a friend, but like they're not a colleague either. I don't know where to quantify them.
Acquaintance?
But they do a lot of talking about the 13 months and the different constellations, and they're like super brilliant about all of that. It's not my niche, so I haven't like really latched on and like schooled myself about that stuff. But what I take away that's important from that is that we're frequency. Mm-hmm. That we are vibration, and the higher our vibration, the more clear we are, whether that's clear-minded, clear heart, you can describe it however you want. And when we die, we are vibrating at a much higher frequency than we could ever possibly vibrate when we're in human form.
Really?
That's what I do know.
It's amazing.
And it's partially because our bodies are dense. It's just density, and density is going to slow down vibration. And again, that's science. That's not woo-woo. That is like hard and fact science. There's nobody's going to dispute that. Mm-hmm. So we are dense, so dense in the mind and dense in the body.
Some of us more so than others. Yep.
Some more so than others. That's why people who meditate are learning how to raise their vibration by going inward, getting in touch with that true nature of self, which is much more vibrant, vibrates much more frequently and fast.
What's the 13 months called? What's the 13th month called?
Do you know? I don't know, but I can find that out. And if that video doesn't say, but I know
it didn't say it. We played it all the way through. It didn't say it.
No, it doesn't say.
And he made it sound like we would all know. Like, of course, it's,
I waited the whole time for it.
Well, I feel like it's like satanic or something like that. When I listened to it back again, I thought maybe that's probably. I was thinking too. I was trying to think like, okay, which month has like a sub part of it that's something else. I don't know. But you were talking about the higher we vibrate, the clearer minded we are, clear hearted we are, whatever. Is that like a constant state of being, or does it ebb and flow? Does the energy ebb and flow?
For humans, it ebbs and flows. It doesn't have to, but it does. And it does because we over-identify with the physical. I am Deborah, and I'm annoyed because I stubbed my toe, and life sucks because my toe hurts now.
Emotionally thinking, is that what you're getting at?
Emotionally thinking, over-identifying with what's right in front of us.
Yeah.
Like, I spilled my coffee, I'm mad. I, am not working today, I'm free, I'm happy. All these, right. Like, when we vary from our, one extreme to another, when we over-identify with anything, and we make that part of who we are, or we associate it as who we are, that is going to keep us so small and keep us so low vibration. Like, it's just, we can't raise up above that because we're only as good as our moment is, as in the human realm. That does not operate nowhere else on the planet or in the universe. Does it operate like that? Known that I know of, other than humans.
Interesting.
So you had mentioned earlier when you were talking about like your brother, kind of how you guys talk in your own love language and how each person that you're connected with, you had touched base that you talk about that a lot. Is that similar to everyone's kind of discovering now that people have different love languages, touches, acts of service, whatever? Talk me through that, what you meant.
Yeah, so the language of mediumship from, say, me to my brother is, again, it's a projection coming from my human mind, because my human mind can only understand what it understands, the human part of me. I can't know more than what my brain knows.
You can't know what you don't know.
You can't know what you don't know. My brain, my human brain, my identity, my Deborah self. But then there's that larger self, the real self, the true self that is everywhere and all expansive, all knowing. That part of us, it's not just me, it's all of us, knows everything all the time. So my connection with my brother, and this is one of the things we can't escape, but we need to be aware of, that when we're connecting with a loved one, we're trying to go human brain to their spirit, to their consciousness. Not going to work. We have to go larger, or as far as consciousness to consciousness, awareness to awareness, or we recognize that, okay, I am projecting my human understanding onto him. And so that's where signs come in, like where people say, oh, the red cardinal, that represents my dad. Well, is it? No, it doesn't really. In the world of energy, the cardinal is a human construct that is used to represent the awareness of a presence of energy. But no one talks about it. Everyone's like, nope, my dad's the cardinal. And I'm like, no, your dad's not the cardinal. The cardinal is a representation of an awareness of energy, a presence. And this is hard. This is a hard concept for people, for everyone, humanity, to understand. But the more we understand this, the better.
Do you think it's an association thing? Like you're it's the energy that's getting you there, but you're associating it with the red cardinal.
That's what I was going to say too. It's got to be something of hinting at another thing. Right?
I feel like this is way off subject, but I have to know, and it's on my mind. How long does it take you to teach somebody to be able to do what you do?
It probably depends on how dense they are.
Amanda coming in with jokes.
There you go.
Oh, she's 1,000% correct, though. Some people, it depends on how your mind is really wired. I mean, some people who are so literal tend to, I won't say all of them, but will have a harder time because they want such concrete.
Do you find the people that are like logic based, is that what you're saying? People that are kind of rooted in logic and tangibility are harder to get them to open up?
At times, yes. Yep.
Or it's harder for them to take any kind of leap of faith, any type of faith, basically, right? I mean,
ironically, though, I am more wired like that. I am more wired to not take a leap of faith.
Right.
I wish I was more faith-based, trust, believe, and it shall appear, and I am not. I am not wired that way. I mean, I have to really, really train and behave my way through that. Like, I know it's available, and I know people who are like amazing manifestors because they're just sort of like, I'm just going to have faith that it's going to happen. And I'm just like, I'm going to have faith as soon as I have concrete evidence that it's going to happen.
Yeah, the faith will come afterwards.
Please.
When I see the money in the bank, I will have faith that it's there.
Exactly. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And I wish I was not wired that way, but I am. And I think that's also what makes me good at understanding people who are also wired that way.
Yeah. Well, that's what attracted me to wanting to listen to you more, was when during that first show, that's what set you apart. Everybody else, that I've ever heard, it's almost you have to kind of go on faith and believe a little bit, and then it will appear to you. And with you, it was much more, nope, you got to have the proof, and it's got to be logical, and and that appeals to me much more on a scientific level. That's kind of how I operate. So,
and I think it does appeal to humanity more. I think it's more because we're wired the way we are wired, where we are living in a physical world. it is what we understand. And yet we are supposed to take this big jump, and we don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
So I'll say something here, since we're doing the little religion kind of versus this or talking about it. I'll give a little bit of a hot take. Do you think religion in a lot of ways is really harming our spirituality as humans, or our ability to connect spiritually, because of the dichotomy of it and the dogma that everybody kind of wants to force on themselves?
I definitely do, because we see so much striation because of religion. All of a sudden now we become more different because we believe different things, when essentially no one gets past like, well, I'm Muslim and I'm Christian. Well, right there, it's like, yeah, then we can't agree. We can't really talk. We have, and that if you really dissect both, they're both
almost the same.
They're all saying the same thing. They're absolutely, and I used to be obsessed with religion. I studied religions like deeply at like 12, 13, 14, because I was looking for proof and I was looking for what's this all about. So I think that religion was the initial human attempt to understand these big concepts. So that was their intention. And I think humanity and structure and the way society is, it arranged it in such a way that it became controlling and very literal and hierarchy. Anytime I see hierarchy anywhere, it's not natural. Because nothing out in nature has hierarchy. The oak tree is not better. It's not the CEO of the tulips.
But I would question that.
All work together. So there's no such thing as hierarchy. So when I see hierarchy in religion, then I'm like, no. That's why I really do resonate a lot with Buddhism, Hinduism, because there's much less levels of hierarchy and who's worthy, who's not worthy, and all that garbage that I think is garbage.
So when we were talking about how language has kind of limited us, I kind of thought the same way that you are, that nature as it is doesn't necessarily have its own language. They may have, and I'm looking more on the animal side. You looked more, trees and that kind of thing. I was looking animalistic. They do have a way of communicating, but it's not necessarily as limited. And then you say there's no hierarchy in nature, but among any sort of species of animals, that's not true. So it's only stuff that's rooted in the ground that doesn't have a hierarchy. What do you feel about that?
I think you're talking about survival of the fittest is what you're
No,
talking about.
I'm talking about first thing that comes to mind is a wolf pack. Anything that any group of animal that lives in a cluster has a leader. They have a protector,
Oh, okay.
It's sometimes it's as simple as like breeding. So if you look at a herd of horses, there's only one stallion. There's only one stud.
In our relationship, that would be me.
Oh my God.
Well, could you be talking more of a sort of a primitive view of it?
That's what I was asking. So in a wolf pack, there can be other males, but there's the dominant male.
There's one alpha.
There's one alpha, and then you do have
let's hear Deborah's take on that.
So again, that's through human observation, and we're wired to observe it as such. Okay. But really what's happening is everyone has a role and a part of a system. But we're seeing it as, he's the boss. But
we see the protector as the leader always equally.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we're saying alpha, we gave the name alpha. Again, it comes back to language. We made alpha the person who's in charge, the protector, but that could just be, he's just the one that's mating all the...
Yeah. So if you zoom out, they all have purpose. They all bring purpose into a system. Okay. They all have a role. It's humans that have really messed that up.
Well, that's
because
crazy.
All of a sudden,
Interesting.
And if you look at nature, like on a grand ecosystem, I mean, they all play a role. You have a predator, you have your prey animals. They all have a part. You have to have the predators to keep the prey from being overrun, but
it all comes full circle.
Yeah, it all comes all the way back around.
Circle of life.
And think about it, like when a wolf kills an animal to eat it, no one calls the wolf a killer, a murderer.
There's no system that says
they're
that's
mentally ill. No one says, wow, that's a bad wolf. Everyone understands that that's part of the system. It is only in the human society where we look at things as good or bad, positive or negative, powerful or weak.
So
there's not that out in nature.
That's true.
Not that.
I've always, religion, talking about that really gets me excited. So I'm sorry, I got really interested right now. But I've always said that religion was formed to I don't want to use the word control, but it was formed to lay a rule to society using the fear that people have. People were afraid of what happened when you died because no one could explain it. There was no answers. So they kind of came together and said, look, you're good if you do this, you're bad if you do this, and here's the answer of what happens after death. If you look at religion, and you said you studied it, so that's really why I wanted to share this with you. If you look at it across the board, no matter what religion you are, it's all about what makes you a good person or a bad person. You're going to go to heaven, hell, good, bad, results, whatever after you die. It's all the same. If you take it down to a base level.
Those are human concepts. And religion wasn't formed to control and create fear. It was formed to create a sense of understanding this wonder. And then that changed into somewhere along the lines on
like rules of society.
Then society became more, started becoming towns and villages, and we became more like little tribes. And we started to, while we're supposed to come together, we started to break off in striations and different divisions. And then religion was like, oh, we need a way to like get all these people to work together. I know, let's scare the crap out of them. So, that's the abridged version.
Sure.
So the intent, I think, was really smart in our initial trying to create and put words and language to these huge, huge spiritual concepts. And then humans got a hold of it, and we made good or bad, evil. We made God and Satan. These things don't exist. Is there Satan out in nature? No. Forest fire, terrible, right? We say that's a horrible happening in nature. It's an unfortunate thing, but what happens after a forest fire? We could say it's terrible, or do we say, wow, that was really good because new growth is now available? There's nothing in nature that falls into the good or bad category.
No, it's just part of what happens.
Is.
Very interesting.
And that's our beingness.
It just
is.
I like that.
We just are. We're not lazy. We're not dumb. We're not, we've created all these labels. And really, if we get close to our beingness, we're perfect.
I think we have lazy and dumb both on the podcast. I'm not going to say who's who.
But enough about camera 3.
So while we are...
Whoa!
You don't even know what camera 3 is.
While we circle around religion and things that just are, what's your concept of like reincarnation? So if we're just energy, is there any way for the energy to slow the vibrations back down and reform? And that's when we have like new life?
Great question.
That's a great question. So to me, reincarnation is quantum physics at its best. So we like to think linearly because that's how we're wired. And so we right now, all of us listening to this, us engaging, anyone listening to this, we are so stuck in our humanness, our beingness in this lifetime. We don't even think about not being who we are in any other form. However, if we are infinitely connected and energy can never be created or destroyed, and there is no such thing as time, and light can travel in particle and wave, you take all of these major concepts of just physics alone, we are all of it. And this is when like buckle your seatbelts, just, try to
Going on a ride. Here we go.
We're going on a ride. We're all existing and vibrating across all of time as we know it. So at any moment, it's not like, say I was Abraham Lincoln in another lifetime. How come we have people who get regressed and there's like 10,000 people that says, I was Abraham Lincoln? Because really, technically, if we were an immediate reincarnation of one other person, only one other person could claim that they were that person. Right? Are you following me there?
I do.
Okay.
So really, we are all Abraham Lincoln. We are all each other.
I wish I had an explosion sound effect right now because I would play it.
So is it just like, so energy is just this giant mass and then pieces of it come together to form pieces of a person. So you could be pieces of different people.
Well, it's kind of like looking at, when you're looking at a lake on a really sunny day and you see the specks and sparkles from the sun. it's like in this moment, we are only experiencing and looking at life, looking at the universe through the lens of who we think we are right now. But at any moment, mediumship, this is what we do. At any moment, I can shift into the consciousness of, wait a minute, I don't want to see through Deborah's eyes. I want to see through Abraham Lincoln's eyes.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so hold on. And nobody laugh at me. What do you think about mirrors with that sort of aspect?
Literal mirrors?
Yes.
I'm impressed with the question. We are all reflecting off of each other, bouncing off of each other, our energy, which is also reflecting it back to us. So mirrors, literal, is a great analogy to the energy of what's actually occurring.
And looking into a mirror in that sort of aspect, would you want to compensate for what you do and don't like as to with those specks that you were talking about on a lake?
Say the question again.
So the thing that I've heard about mirrors is you are in your eyes, you are the most beautiful person you've seen in that sort of manner, right? But with that being said, if you were wanting to compensate for something that you didn't like or something that you did want to change, would that be where the specs come into play on that lake that you were just talking about? Could you sort of get a different point of view of yourself, I guess, from... I'm sorry that I'm butchering this.
I think what you're saying is your internal perspective of yourself changes your image. So,
yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Your image of what you're saying does something. Looking at a mirror, are you able to, I guess, pick and choose what you get to, like the specs and stuff? Please give me something. Please.
Let me see if I can ask the same question a different way.
All right.
Do you think if you're looking at yourself through a mirror, are you seeing the same thing that I see when I'm looking at you?
Yes, that exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're changing something about the reflection
that you see.
Right. You're changing something that's looking back at you.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing of you is something that I've created of you. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yeah. Please give me your thoughts, pretty please.
Yeah. So I love you guys. You guys still get this.
Was that a good question? Was that a good question?
Really good. It's a great question.
Good.
And it's a really hard concept. It's a really hard concept until it's not. And then this is where we need to get to the next level of our evolution to really understand these concepts. So everything we see, physically see and metaphorically see, is coming from the conditioning of who we are. So we are all experiencing the exact same event differently because we're coming from the brain that we were conditioned with. So we could all look at a flower, forget a mirror. We could all look at a flower and we could see it differently and experience it differently.
So, sorry. So I was really excited to bring this point up because it clicked with me. Like, if we have really negative experiences with a particular person, stop it. If we have really, you'll know why he's laughing in a second. If we have a really bad experience, several terrible experiences with one person, we will start to see them as an uglier person in our mind because their behavior, as we have perceived it towards us, that's why your view of someone can change. If you physically look at someone that you don't like, it's because
I think she's on a different level, though. I think she's talking about even how you see yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
How you see yourself and how you see.
Well, I
how
think
you're
that's
perceiving.
part of it.
You could all see a flower differently.
We could, but so many people see it the same. So is that just because they're kind
the
of
perception of people
conditioned
at that point,
the
right?
same?
Deborah, hit us.
Yes, it's all of what you're saying. It's the condition is the same. So if we say rose, we can all identify a rose and we go, oh, that's a rose, but we still don't really know that we're all seeing the same exact thing. We just, again, that's where language came in. We named concepts and we're doing this all the time. And the problem with that is our concepts are constructed by our experiences, which are all different. So we can't possibly see the same thing because we're all coming from different lenses.
Right. That's where I was going with, like, a negative experience can also be a positive experience. So the way that I view each of you, like when the version of Denny that I see when I look at him is my version.
Very
You
Brad
don't
Pitt-ish.
you don't see this, neither of you see the
Not
same
Brad
thing.
Pitt.
You see the ex-husband, you see the
We all see a
dad.
dick. We all
Yes.
see
Yeah.
a dick.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop
All
it.
together, I think the end of that sentence is dick.
Stop it. Deborah, I'm sorry.
Well, to take this to the next level, yes, you're all seeing a different version, and on top of that, the version we are seeing is the mirror reflection of ourselves.
There you go. Have some of that,
Oh,
everyone.
well, hold on.
Is that why? So we
To go back
mentioned
to what you were saying.
I will
yeah.
take that. I will actually. I'll run with that because. Never mind. I'll embarrass myself.
we were
Right,
just
there it
talking
was.
about
No,
how
you're not going to embarrass yourself. Say
Oh,
it.
I promise you I will. Don't underestimate that. So we're gonna move on.
we were
No
just
idea.
talking about how couples that have been together for a really long time start to look like each other.
Sure.
That's why.
And act. And
Yeah.
act like each other.
It's because they are marrying each other, and you're also marrying, like, the version, you're mirroring how you see each of them, and that's yourself reflected off of them, and that's why it becomes the same.
Yes.
My brain
And I look at
hurts.
it. I look at it as him being my dad. Is that here you go, Deborah? This is what I wanted to say. Is I want to mirror and sort of reenact every good thing that I can take from him as him being my dad. Now, I don't know it from a wife or an ex-wife's point of view with him,
Perspective.
but I do know it as, I've got 2 kids of my own, and I want to be the dad that he was for me. So that makes that kind of comes around. I get it. I like how you said
But I
that.
feel like that's more thought.
But no, it's not more thought because I'm looking at him and
But it's a reflection of
Help me out, Deborah,
his
please.
his child self and his child memories, his adult memories, his in between memories. All of that are reflected when he looks at him. He sees all of those points of time
Son,
are
come on.
remembered at the same time that he's looking at them and then being reanalyzed now.
Would you agree with what Amanda just said, Deborah?
Yes,
Okay.
100%. Well done. And this is where humanity, I've bashed humanity, right? When I keep saying, we keep saying yes and, positive and negative, and we've created concepts. But here's why humans are made in the quote unquote likeness and image of God. This is what this line means, is that we have the ability to be aware that we're creating these concepts. And so we have the ability to now make a conscious choice. You can now look at the reflection of yourself known as your dad, and you as a human have a conscious decision. Do I want to replicate his actions or do I want to do the opposite? So that now humans have the ability of choice, of decision, power of free will. That's the whole Adam and Eve story. We chose wrong. That's the impending. Really, it was that we chose to choose. We chose to have the ability to be aware of ourselves and to change it. A dog can't say,
Oh my goodness.
you know what? My mom was a really good digger of holes, and so I want to be a digger of holes. A dog doesn't do that. So it is not conscious of itself in a way to change its behavior based on its observation. But humans are.
So
that's
that's-
what makes us special.
Brando.
So
I
you were
think-
sorry.
Brando.
Go ahead.
Well, you talked about Adam and Eve. It clicked because the entire story of Adam and Eve is they couldn't see their nakedness. They had no idea. It just was until they ate the fruit. They chose to choose, and now they're aware that there's different choices to be made in life.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Brando.
And dogs are still
Mind-blowing.
naked. Bears are still naked. To use the metaphor, metaphorically naked.
Yeah.
And yet,
That's impressive.
So
yeah.
when we think about the energy, coming into the matter, basically that's what we are, the matter with the energy inside of it. We talked about kind of that reincarnation that can happen, or this energy that can come back down. I feel like a lot of what we're talking about, the different experiences, the points of view, the mistakes, all those things, when you think about, well, what's the big question? What, the thing that everybody wants to know, what's the real meaning? Maybe that is the meaning, is that energy, using this human form to have all these experiences and learn all of what it can about itself and, in effect, the universe. I know that's real deep, but it's getting late, so hopefully that makes sense.
It is perfectly stated. And what a shame that we don't think of this and talk about this more.
Yeah.
Because it makes
this
is something that it takes too much. It doesn't take too much, but it
makes you question everything you know.
It makes you question literally every single thing. Like right now with that mirror thing, that was sort of an offhand question, but at the same time, it wasn't. It was a very specific question to this aspect of thinking.
And that's what we need to do. And that's what's not out there anymore. We are blinding ourselves with distractions of social media, and we're not asking these questions.
So what I just asked isn't out there anymore. Did everybody else hear that?
No.
Hold on. We are on record. We are on record that there is some intelligence flowing through this.
I think what she's saying is the art of conversation isn't out there anymore. The art
of conversation and thinking and being willing to look and realize, wait a minute, everything I know is nothing.
It's something that's been told us. Yeah.
Deborah. No one wants to say that because we're all so scared. We're scared to leave our comfort zones. Mm-hmm. We're scared to not be who we think we are. You know, that's the ego, right? I could definitely have a giant ego. I could be like, holy shit, I knew this about so-and-so. Right? And there are moments where I'm like, oh my God, how cool am I? And I'm like, nope, not really. You know what I mean? Like, nope, reality check. No, we all have egos. We all feel really cool. We all feel really bad. We all have these things. But in order to grow and evolve, we need to go, oh, wait a minute. I know nothing. And therefore, I'm just going to return to my beingness.
How much of what you do today do you wish was like what's happening on this podcast versus what you're actually getting? Because I'm guessing you're just getting a lot of, hey, who's next to me? Hey, is this person still mad?
Oh, does that get irritating?
Oh, you have no idea.
Especially when there's concepts like this to discuss, there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I could give you a lifetime of mind-blowing, very coolness. You can find love for yourself in a true sense of like, wow, you mean to tell me I don't have to perform to make myself think I'm good? You mean to tell me that I have access to complete intelligence, complete love, complete awareness and consciousness all the time, or I can absolutely go to bed tonight totally freaking out about my Central Hudson utility bill. Which one do we want?
So how long is your waiting list?
So the way I do my schedule is so that I don't have a long waiting list. I would have probably a 5-year waiting list right now, and that's stupid. Like nobody knows where they're going. I'm intuitive, and I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. So I open my appointment calendar month by month. So every single month we announce it to my mailing list and we say, okay, we're opening the calendar at 7 p.m. or whatever it is. And then you jump on, and when they're booked, and then you have to wait till the next month. So technically the waiting list is potentially a month, but then I've had people say, I've been trying to get an appointment for 2 years. Yeah. So
Should I book you now and reserve a spot for when I'm on the other side?
Let's hope I'm retired by then.
It shouldn't. I mean, he's much older.
How much, Deborah, do you? You're on social media, and obviously you take this very seriously, and you're very deep in your thought process, and actually you're very thought provoking for the common folks. So I appreciate that.
Us common folk.
I'm the common folk, and that's
I am too.
It's me.
I'm the common folk.
Me.
I am too, because let me tell you, I wasn't sitting here thinking about a mirror projecting back and forth. And
don't patronize me.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. So, Deborah, when you are on social media, and I know what you're going to say. I'm not judgmental. I try not to be judgmental. But when you see somebody sitting in their bedroom on a chair with weird lights going behind them, and they're trying to sell this idea, does it drive you crazy?
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It absolutely does. And for a couple of reasons. It is not a judgment because everybody, like, that saying, water seeks its own level. And that's not a hierarchy like, oh, my level's so much better or theirs is so much worse. It's not that. It's people resonate. on whatever level they're capable of resonating with. And my whole thing is, oh my God, everybody, you are so much more capable of understanding and elevating your awareness exponentially if you are just willing to talk and
open your own
converse
mind.
and ask questions and question yourself and not be so, married to your conditioning. Because that's what causes our suffering. So it does drive me crazy because it keeps people stuck. It keeps people in the same old lane that they've always been in, which is another reason why I don't like readings. People say, tell me about my job. And I'm like, okay, your job is going to be exactly the same that it's always been because you're doing exactly the same that you've always done.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Every
like it.
single
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So like we need to create change. We need to be affecting it, creating it, opening ourselves up to it, realizing that we are thinking of ourselves so small. So small. We have all of ourselves and our lives and our potential so small that if we could just open that up by 1%, 1% of expansion of everyone's consciousness would change the world, like overnight.
Does your book give that? Does your book give that on how to do that?
It starts that conversation, yes. But people want to, they want to know, but I just want to know, is my uncle here? And I'm like, yeah, he's here. He's here just like Abraham Lincoln, because it's all within, so I have to break it down into pieces because, and I understand this is big concepts. This is not like,
and some people
this
just
is all I
aren't-
care about talking about. I don't like talking about anything else. I mean, anyone who knows me, I don't do small talk. I'm very intense. I just want to have really great conversations or nothing. But yeah. So it does drive me crazy.
I will tell you, you can tell we're in your wheelhouse right now. You are sitting forward.
Yeah.
You are, you're engaged. Your hands are moving. And,
I do talk with my hands a lot.
Well, and that's
Can't
okay.
deal with the stupidity. She's like, ah.
So I've got one more for you, Pop. How we doing on time?
Hey, if she's good, we're good.
All right,
I'm great. I love
I have one more, and I hope it's like
This is where we blow it, Deborah.
it
Things
is.
are going so well.
So
This is
good.
where it
I
falls
hope-
apart.
Brandon's
I'm
going to crash
hoping-
and burn for
Remember
us.
what we said when you have that one last thing and you're on the fence?
How's the rest
Don't
of my
do it.
divorce going to go, Deborah?
That's not what I'm going to ask you. So I'm hoping that I can at least get a double on this one. Like the mirrors, what sort of, I guess, reality did dreams play into all of this?
Great question. So,
Thank you. Say that again for everyone to hear. Say that again for everyone to hear.
I'll play it again for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, put it on a loop. Great question. Great question. Dreams are another level of awareness or consciousness. So dreams are the time when our ego is sleeping, meaning our sense of self is not defending its sense of self. I'm not Deborah Hanlon, mother of 3 sons, medium, when I'm sleeping. I'm just sleeping. But my consciousness
I'm just
is
super
expanding.
tired.
What'd you say?
I said I'm just super tired.
So is that where deja vu comes into play?
Deja vu is another whole, I always say it's like a glitch in the matrix.
Damn it. Don't
that's
steal
what I
my
always-
thunder right now. We're talking about dreams.
Dreams. So dreams are another level of consciousness that we can use to harness our intuition, our clear seeing, and the shamans, they always use dreams. Harriet Tubman, used her dreams in order to find her path. That was intuitive consciousness connecting. So these are not weird things. We've been doing it our whole lives. Suddenly in the last 400 or 500 years, all of a sudden we became nobody can read minds and nobody can think thoughts, nobody can connect with the deceased. But no, we absolutely can. And that is where we're headed.
I guess I always thought deja vu was what you dreamt
Here's where
about
it goes.
something and then it actually happened later and it was like, oh,
That is not.
Sometimes deja vu occurs like you dreamt about something and then it's there later.
Yeah.
That would not be so much deja vu as it is more
Like a
premonition.
Uh-huh.
So deja vu is when you are in an environment that you've never been in before, but you're like, wait, so-and-so's going to
familiar.
walk in the door and they're going to raise their hand, and then that happens. My interpretation is that, oh, this is when it gets all so, people are going to be like, wait, what?
Bring it.
So
She's going to the multiverse right now. Here it comes.
multiverse. Oh, I'm so obsessed with virtual reality.
It totally makes sense.
Are you really?
Obsessed.
I don't
And
even
I'm
know
not a
what that
gamer.
is, dude. I don't even know what that is.
Virtual reality in the multiverse. It's
No idea.
oh, everyone. That's the wave. That's the future. I'm obsessed, and I'm not a gamer, and I'm not into that stuff. But that's another whole topic. But deja vu.
Back to deja vu.
12 days. Good thing the calendar year has 13 months. We're going to need it to cover all this
That's
material.
right.
I'm dying to know why you love virtual reality, but I'll let you answer the deja vu question.
You're going to have to come on
deja
for a
vu.
part 3.
Totally. At any moment, how do I succinctly? So energy is in 2 forms. There's particle form of energy and wave form. What does that mean? Particle form of energy means it has location and we can find it. We can say, oh, there it is. We, as humans, are energy in particle form, meaning if we are looking for the energy known as Deborah, we can go, oh, there she is. And we know where she is. This is like a really rough explanation of this. However, energy also expresses itself in what they call wave form, which means it's everywhere all at once. So it's not the location known as Deborah. It's everything, including Deborah.
Oh, boy. Mm-hmm.
Because of that, at any moment that we're living, again, going back to the freedom of choice and the power of being able to be aware and make decisions, we have infinite possibilities in front of us of what can happen next. All the time. We have all these possibilities in front of us. We live conditioned, boring, dull, dumb lives, and so we keep choosing the same day over and over. But that's a conscious choice that we're not even aware that we're making. Deja vu is when we have experienced a possibility in advance, and then we actually follow that trajectory of that possibility.
Whoa. Okay.
Now, followed it, I guess, on purpose, or you just happened to stumble in and you were like, wait a second, I've got this before.
So I have a very distinct story. I went to school in Kansas. I moved out there. That's where I went to school. I was seeing a guy. He had a mobile home in a next town. He ended up like going to work, doing traveling and stuff. And I went and lived in this mobile home when school was closed because the dorms were closed. So it was me and then a female roommate moved in. So it was her and I living together. And I had seen her before. I've never met her before. I had no idea who she was. But it was like almost in that moment when she walked in and said, hey, I'm Sarah, I want to guess her name is. I honestly we barely interacted. But I was like, I know your face. And I'm where I'm supposed to be. It's like it felt. That's what that connection felt like to me. And I said, "Is that what this is supposed to be?"
Yeah, that whole
like?
where I'm supposed to be. I've always heard that. Actually, Jamie taught me that is when you feel that sort of deja vu feeling. It's like, oh, well, then you know where you're where you're supposed to be. Is there any sort of truth or validity to that sort of aspect to it?
I think we're always where we're supposed to be. Always
at all times.
At all times. We are always where we're supposed to be physically.
So there's no bad decisions. No bad decisions.
No, there are.
I don't know about that.
There are. Trust me, you're living one.
I wouldn't tell my sons that. I would be very clear on, no, that's a bad decision.
They tried. No, Deborah, they tried. I didn't listen. Moving on from that.
So deja vu is that in all those infinite possibilities, that deja vu event was going to happen in all of them, regardless of what path you chose. So say at this moment I'm standing at a road and in front of me there are 10 different paths, right? That's the analogy for at any moment I can choose any potential next experience. And in this moment, we won't say infinite, we'll just say that there's 10. So I have 10 paths in front of me. We choose one. We experience deja vu on that path. All those paths were going to lead to that moment.
It's the same end destination?
Say there's an oak tree that you sit at during that path. That same oak tree is on each one of those paths to make a physical analogy.
Exactly.
So it's like a choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, but it's still the same destination at the end.
In that moment.
Yeah,
And
in just that one piece of
Oh
time.
shit, dude!
But
You
listen,
lost me there.
But listen, hold on. I think what she's saying is it was going to be anyway.
It's an event that's going to occur on
Deborah,
any
would you
path
agree?
that you take.
Would you agree?
Great.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
All right.
this was going to happen in all scenarios.
Right.
That's so insane. That's so intense.
Yeah,
I love it.
that takes
deja vu
everything away
moment.
from it. That takes everything away from it, though. If you have those 10...
No, it's just one moment. It's a small.
It's that moment that
it's
you feel
something
deja
that-
vu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
like
the-
that
that
person.
moment.
So my roommate, I could have gone to Oregon and I was going to have a roommate or meet someone that looked like her.
Oh, okay.
No
so
matter where
that
I ended
idea
up.
was that
Yeah.
concept was going to happen whether you did.
In that deja vu moment.
Okay. All right. I'm back. All right.
Yes. That's what the glitch in the matrix. Like, oh wow, this event was going to happen, and no matter what.
But it was going.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like, wow.
I'm so tingly.
I know. I just.
I'm so
Okay.
tingly.
So hold on.
Can I
Was
just
my
know-
first marriage gonna fail anyway?
Okay.
Yes.
Deborah, the answer is
take
yes.
No,
We
is it
definitely-
deja vu?
Is that what
Let
you're
me,
saying?
Let me move the 8
No.
ball. It's moving. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. 2 and 3 aren't looking good either.
Go back
So,
to that reflection thing.
I have to know in a very short form, if you can give it to me, why you love virtual reality so much.
So, my fiance bought the Oculus, which is like the
Yes.
whatever, I don't know, headset
thing.
that you
VR
put on your
headset.
eyes.
I've heard.
Yeah.
And there's a backstory why he did, but I won't go into that. And so he put it on and was really interested. I said, let me try this. Let me see what this is about. And I put it on, and I don't like gaming. I don't like it. I went, oh my God, I can finally give people an experience to understand what it feels like to be dead. Because it was crazy.
Wait a minute.
Do a sound thing.
So
Pop.
is it like everything is set around you and you're kind of moving? That's how I've
Yeah.
never done the virtual
I
reality
just
stuff.
tried it last weekend for the very first time.
Was it freaky?
It's crazy.
Was
It's
it like
crazy.
you actually thought you were falling?
Hold on one
Oh,
second.
yeah.
Hold on. Deborah,
Yeah, let's
explain to me
continue.
explain to me how you feel like you're dead, or how you could sell that back to me.
Yeah. So when we're dead, we don't have a body, right? But we have awareness. We have consciousness, right? But we're so used to having consciousness, awareness, thoughts, but in a body. So we identify those thoughts with me, right? So I put these headsets on, and the way it's laid out is you start off in the room. And in this particular one, I'm in like a Japanese dojo. It looks like around me. There's like a koi pond over here. So I'm like sitting, what feels like I'm sitting in this room. I'm in my bedroom, my actual bedroom right here. But I have this headset on, and all of a sudden I'm in this Japanese dojo type of thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, look right, look left, look behind me. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. I'm like, wow, it's so cool. And then I looked down and I went,
You didn't
oh
see
my
anything.
God, I don't have a body because I was not there.
Yeah.
But my awareness was in the room.
So it's the ability to block out your physical sense.
It's the ability to know that awareness does not need a physical body to be aware.
So
Yeah,
does that help
dummy.
people get to your point? Like-
And I'm getting so heavily involved in the virtual reality world because of this. Like, I'm going to teach meditations this week because it's so experiential that it's only going to help us understand these concepts more.
Yes.
I love it. That's awesome.
I get that. I because of putting it on and feeling that, and knowing what I know, I could see you starting a meditation like that, and you talking about how you feel it and teaching.
Like Beverly Hills Ninja.
That would that
Like Beverly Hills Ninja. He does it.
could put you in the
All right,
next
Braden, I'm
level.
going to shut your mic off now.
In the next
Turn him
level,
off.
because going back to before when we started talking about, like, if I can describe something with language, I'm going to limit it. But if you can experience it,
right?
If you feel
it's
it
expanded
without
more. So
Not telling
virtual
you.
reality helps you feel
Yeah.
it.
It does.
There's
It's
a game on there called Plank. Did you try this?
No,
Oh my god.
You will literally fall down.
I'm buying one right now.
Oh my god. It's a plank. You go into an elevator, a virtual elevator. You hit the button to go up. You see yourself kind of going up because, you know, when you're in an elevator, you can see through the crack of the door. You kind of see that. And you come up at the top of a building, and there is a plank, a board in front of you, hovering over a city. And the whole thing is to walk onto the plank.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds simple. I'm in my living room. I'm in my bedroom doing this with my fiance, right? When I say full sweats, shaking, knees shaking, because I literally thought I was at the top of a building going to walk on a plank. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I sat on my own floor. I mean, he took a video of it. I said, if you ever show that to someone, I will kill you. I will kill you. Because I am crying while I know I have a headset on, and I am like, I'm going to fall. And I'm on the floor of my bedroom. But I literally believed that I was on this plank. So I think everyone needs to try this virtual reality.
Do you believe that you were reacting to that because of the elation that you'd found something that, gave you another presence of proof almost?
Well, that reaction is one, I hate heights, and it felt really real. But I also was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. This is such a perfect tool to explain so much more that we can't conceptually get. Virtual reality is helping us to understand these concepts.
That's insane.
So we've got to eventually, now look, I
have
want
to
to have her on again. So before we ask any more questions, Deborah, can I get a commitment from you on air right now that you will come on for a third time?
Absolutely.
Just like I ask good questions.
Only because you ask good questions.
That's right.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
He's not going to be able to fit through his head through the door.
So here is my first question.
You have more questions?
Well, no, I have a question that I want to ask, and then I've got some that I found that I want to watch your face when I read them.
All right.
Deborah, can you at any time, you were talking about Abraham Lincoln and all of those, are you saying that you can go back or you could locate that energy at any time?
Yes.
And anybody that does this and that really is in tune could also do it?
Everybody can do it.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
It is crazy. So, and very simple answer on
I just
that,
thought it
which
was
I appreciate.
close. I just thought it was close to you. I didn't. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
And I love to do this, Deborah, and I'm only doing this because I want to see your face, and it's really not that big of a deal, but kreynolds.org is out there, and they have 5 commonly asked questions psychics and mediums hear, and I want you to react to each one. Okay? And these are not crazy questions. I'm just sure you're going to roll your eyes for one. And
one?
Well, all.
Oh.
The first one is, tell me what it's like when you're looking at a mirror. Is it really? No, I'm just kidding. That was
shitting me, dude. That's not funny.
Look at Braden.
Dude, that's not funny.
For a second.
I
was like, oh.
I contributed to this. Damn
in
it.
a very big way.
You did.
In a big way.
You did.
You did good, Braden.
That's embarrassing.
People don't understand that concept.
Deborah, I'll have you know this is my last podcast. Thank you.
Well, until she comes back again. So the first question that is commonly asked, are you getting anything from me right now?
Every day.
Look at
they
that.
say Every
Do
minute.
you get tired of it? I mean, really?
Totally. And I'm going to be totally honest. Like at some point, because people close to me know not to ask that. But, if I see somebody in the supermarket and they're like, oh my God, is anyone around me? I'm like, just the milk that I'm trying to get.
So please get out of my way.
Yeah.
And number 2 is very similar. Do you see anyone around me right now? Just like you just said.
Yep.
All right, are you ready? Number 3, I have this problem. Are you picking anything up? Do you get that a lot, really? Like somebody... So, yeah.
More of like, you probably already know this. And I'm like, no,
God.
Don't make assumptions. Don't make it. I don't know. I don't want to know.
That is horrible. Look at Brayden.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's kind of a good question, I thought. Oh, this is a good one. Is he or she the one for me?
Oh.
God.
Okay.
God.
So I'm not trying to ask.
But
here we go.
No.
Here we go.
No. Can you
Caleb hasn't proposed to me yet.
No. Can you actually tell? I mean, when people ask you those questions.
Hold on.
Because
Don't
we're
answer
talking,
that.
ooh,
Deborah.
I like it though. I like it though because they're talking about energies matching up. The
Yeah,
video that we watched
that's what I'm
it was
about to
talking
say.
about like
All
the
right.
love frequency.
All right, Deborah. I was going to try and save you from people coming up and saying, hey, heard on this podcast that you can tell if they're the right one for me.
No, it's not the right one. It's just do your
No.
energy. Are
You
your
asked a
energies
stupid
complete
question.
opposite?
No,
You
I
pointed
just
out a stupid question. It
I
turned
just
into
wanted to
us
see.
asking her a stupid question.
No, just because is that something? Because I think more medium as in like
Psychic?
in it. I don't think of it as a psychic. I guess
Well, that's because I don't think it is.
Because
really.
it's not.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Well-
saying is that something?
Yeah, it's not. All mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. So what mediums are using psychic energy, which just means mental energy. So we're using mental energy or tangible data. That's what I call it. Is the data and the ether. We're using that. So sometimes it comes from someone who's passed, and sometimes it comes from your energy field. So I'll tell people like, your body is telling me this versus your dad is telling me this.
Okay.
So yeah. And are they the right one for me? Like everything here in the physical is a learning lesson. So everyone is the right one. That doesn't mean that like you're good for each other, but you're learning and vibrating and, resonating on certain experiences that you need to have. Because don't forget, I too am divorced. So clearly I didn't get the memo of,
That's what I was like. I'm pretty sure she's
divorced. On my wedding day, I did know, like, we are so getting divorced.
On
like,
Braden's wedding day, we knew too.
Yeah.
So
One of them.
yeah.
You knew?
least.
You knew.
One of the days.
With 100% confidence, you knew?
Absolutely.
And if
But
you're being
we
honest with
talked
yourself,
about-
so did you.
Yeah.
We talked about this the last time though, but you said, because weren't you talking to a friend or a family member? You said, I have to do this. He's not the right one for me, but I still have to do this.
You have a
And
good
that's
memory.
how you're you
I should
had to
probably
come
be
about
worried
your
about
children.
that, huh?
Yeah, it was a very weird feeling because I knew I did not want to date this man, and he, my God, I don't want to bash him. I mean, I do, but I don't. But I knew that I had to have this experience with this person. Yeah,
I felt like that same way with Jamie, and I felt like I needed to be punished for something. I didn't know what it was. But
Moving on,
I needed to be
Deborah. I'm
punished.
sorry.
Last question, Deborah. Here we go, and it kind of fits. Will I ever get married? Not me.
Oh.
Do you hear that? Are you so tired of it? I mean, it's every time.
Okay, I have to ask, is that something
God.
you can tell?
Oh.
sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
Can
Sometimes
you
I
look
don't
at someone and be like, no, you're batshit crazy. You're never getting married.
Can
And
you?
you can. Don't.
Some of
it.
us choose not to say it.
I
would
said
think
it.
you would get a lot.
I told him a million times.
Oh, God.
We were
I would
talking
think
about
the
you.
more the question would be like, is there one for me out there, or am I going to find the one?
Yeah, that's
And
what they mean.
I guess my thought of that is, I don't really subscribe to there being a
a
one.
one.
You know, it's who you end up with,
Yeah, I
and
didn't
kind
either.
of how you
Clearly.
Again, that's a
either
human
love
construct.
the one you're with, type of thing.
Yeah,
That's a
the like the idea of soulmate and all of that is just an idea. I mean, think
Yeah.
about arranged marriages.
Very
Those people
Hollywood.
were it's all romantic to
The
play
whole
everything up.
soulmate conversation makes me a little batty too, because it's a romanticized version of energy that is, publicized and money's made off of. Like, who's
Monetized.
your soulmate? It makes me crazy. Your dog could be your soulmate. Your child could be your soulmate. Your boss could be your soulmate. So soulmates are given such a there's that one soulmate, and there could be so many different soulmates for so many different reasons. It's been romanticized.
You should
In
know
my
that
opinion.
Jamie and Amanda both worked for me at one time.
It was romanticized.
It was
Jesus.
romanticized.
Go. See, it was
So
God.
One quick lightning follow-up question, just because you mentioned dogs, and I think a lot of people wonder. So I know they don't have that self-awareness, but do our pets, do those animals still have the energy? Is that energy
Oh,
still
yes.
part of the
totally.
the
They're
big energy?
same energetic beings. Actually, when we first jumped on this call, I was like, "Oh, Brandon has a dog that's passed around him," and I normally don't focus in on that realm.
Hold on.
She said Brandon first of all.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't say you weren't talking about me?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
thank God.
Brandon.
Who had the recent dog? Like in the last 3 months. Recent.
that passed away?
Mhm.
I have. He
And
has
big
not passed
dog.
away.
It's a big dog.
I have a big. Oh, he's much older. He's getting pretty close.
Well, he's going to
but-
die, clearly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dallas.
Sorry, but I feel like that's where we're going with this.
That's the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Brandon's
Is
now
he
looking
dead?
for his
He's like,
dog.
no, he's
Me
not.
and
I
psychic
don't know.
lady said you're gone.
I'm sorry.
Better go check on him.
He's actually laying right here. I can show him to you.
Is he breathing?
Yeah, he's fine.
I think he's actually looking.
Alice.
That's the funniest thing that's ever happened on this podcast.
Oh, shoot.
Now, Braden about lost his mind because he
has
has
his favorite
a
dog.
very...
I have a 23-year-old stalking in my bag, just a room over of my dog.
No, your dog was in your bag.
Wow, big dog?
No,
He was big for his size, yes.
Yeah, he was
wasn't
morbidly
supposed to be
he was
big.
morbidly obese, Deborah, is what he was. But he was a good boy.
And he had a hurt foot.
He had a put your arm down. He had a club on him. He got hit by a car.
Oh my
And-
God.
Yeah. it's
Well, no,
horrible.
hold on. He was a mean old bastard, so don't be too nice to him. But
He's a good
he
dog.
Braden killed him.
golly,
was a
something
good dog.
an unfortunate accident happened, Deborah, that we were not get into because obviously I'm a bit emotional.
Brayden will start crying.
So when you said something that started with a B, did you have a dog? I could have knocked this table over when you
Get
said
you.
that because I would like everybody was talking. I was like, nope, I'm gonna keep saying what I'm saying until I get acknowledged. So yeah, I'm sweating right now actually just thinking about it.
So, in the presence of proof is the book. We've bought it in this room,
Yes.
Yes.
and we would encourage everyone to buy the book. Amanda, did you have one more question?
So-
She's trying to live her life, Amanda.
No, I know. I just want to.
We're at a $1.47, ladies and gents.
I wanted.
My life. I love this.
I wanted to bring up way early in the podcast. So Denny went through. He introduced everybody to you. You kind of reminded, except he didn't introduce me. Later on, you called me Mandy. Now, for everyone who can't
Holy
see,
shit, that is true.
for everyone who cannot see the Zoom screen, my name on the Zoom screen is Mandarin, but the only people that call me Mandy are like people who knew me as a child. Was that something subconsciously that you may have picked up on?
Wow, I have no idea.
Oh,
Like, I
no
don't
shit?
know.
You didn't realize it?
I caught it when
Not
she
at
said
all.
it.
Well,
I knew-
made
I
fun
heard
of
when
it.
she said
I
it.
giggled about it, but I thought that it was because of. I thought that she
She
may
didn't
have
know
known that you didn't like it. No way.
And
You
I'm just thinking that's her name. Like,
you
that's
just
my
said
favorite.
Mandy. You just said
Yeah.
Mandy.
She did
Totally.
say Mandy.
She
Yeah.
did.
And you're right.
100%.
It does say Mandarin. I didn't even look at our.
Yeah. Oh, so she didn't even see the thing. So you just thought that was my name.
All right, that's a little.
That's
okay.
weird.
You are Mandy from now on. Believe that.
Yeah, I kind of like Mandy.
Sorry about that.
I'm going with that.
No, it's the last time we talked, like I was confused as to like what energy you were seeing around me, and I kind of
We
the
go,
only
back,
thing
go
that-
back to question number one that all of them get asked.
Yeah, no, well, just last time we talked, I didn't understand what she was referring to, and it kind of all linked back to my grandfather, and he would have called me Mandy, and that's really the only like
Oh, and now she's
person
calling
that
you
I've
Mandy.
had.
Ah.
That was kind of what I picked up on.
So,
Wow.
yeah, and we talked about it on the last podcast, but one of our favorite interviews of all time, but when we had Deborah on last, the real magic was on when we stopped recording.
After, yeah.
And she nothing short of incredible. And honestly, we were trying not to be that podcast and said, hey, those questions we talked about it before. We are not going to fanboy out. You know what I mean? We're going to, be respectful, and because your purpose is bigger than just telling us what you see around us. And I think we got there this podcast.
Oh,
very
I
well.
loved this so much.
I'm going to tell you right now, when you do your virtual meditation, when you start that, I'm there. I'm
Good.
there.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that really launched. It'll be a while because
Yeah.
the world is not
Ready for
shown
it.
up to the virtual reality yet.
Yeah. Oh.
But the Zoom meditation on Sunday nights, it's not virtual reality, of course, not
Right.
yet, but that's powerful. That
James
is
has her
so-
own form of meditation on Sunday nights. So,
No, Sunday, Wednesday.
oh,
She watches the challenges with no children.
Yeah. It's my meditation, but I want to join Sundays.
Well, we need to do the Sunday thing. We need to experience it.
I want to so bad.
So let's do this. Let's lightning round. Let's let her off with her life.
Yes.
And Brandon, you're first. Do you have any follow-up questions or last questions for Deborah?
I do not. It was a great pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much. I'm trying to figure out where this dog is now. I'm real worried about.
I'm seeing
my
like
dog.
a big dog, like a Great Dane type dog, really big dog. Maybe it's. I don't think it's a Great Dane, but I'm talking a big dog.
No,
Is Eddie
it's
okay?
a yellow lab. He's like a medium dog.
Is it a dark dog?
No, he's a big dog.
Who? My dog?
Dallas is a big dog.
He's about 70 pounds. He's not like massive, but he's not Great Dane big.
Just
He's
hold him
Labrador
extra
big.
tight tonight, just in case, okay?
No.
You are the worst.
I'm sorry.
Jamie,
No, but it was great to talk to you. And I would like to talk to you again. I can't wait.
Excellent. Thank you. I love this. I really absolutely love this. And to attend for all of you and anyone listening for meditation, if you just email my office saying, I want to try the meditation on Sundays, we'll send you a free Zoom code to try it, just so that you just show up. You can, I prefer cameras on for people just because I like to see people, but you don't have to do that because some people are getting ready to kind of settle in. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time. So what time zone are you in?
We're in Eastern here in Indiana.
Should have let Jamie answer that. Should have let Jamie answer.
I knew we were in Eastern time.
God, this hamster was running.
No, I
But
knew.
that's available to everyone. To email my office, which is hello@deborahhanlon.com. Just say, I just want to try meditation, and we'll send you a Zoom code.
I'm down.
Do you have a limit on those, Deborah?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah. Jamie, give us a final question or
Deborah,
thought
you're
for Deborah.
amazing. Thank you so much. I can't wait till the next time because I feel like we're going to talk more about virtual reality. So I'm super excited. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so glad that you're into it.
Yes.
The virtual reality. Well, all of it. But
Oh yeah, she's into all of it. Trust me, she was the first one to buy the book. So she had it purchased before we were done with the show last night. So,
love it.
Braden, no questions, just a final thought.
Thank you for fielding my idiotic questions. Apparently,
They were good.
Just kidding, you son.
Good job.
But thank
That'll
you
be
for
all.
also educating me at the same time. I had a great time, and this was the most professional podcast I've been a part of. So
That's great. I love it. Thank you.
That's a sad feeling, but true. Amanda? Mandy?
Mandy, you're up.
Andy?
Thank you so much for the thought provoking. I love having these conversations. If you look back, the only time I really talk are when we get into conversations like this. So I'm super excited. I love going over all of this. It never ends and the ideas are endless. So I can't wait for you to come back on and see what there is more.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love it.
Deborah, tell us one more time everywhere we can find you and just enlighten us.
All that. DeborahHanlon.com is my website. Email my office. We're in the middle of redoing my website. So my website right now is really obnoxious. It's really annoying, but will soon be finished and a much cleaner ability. So you could always email my office at hello@DeborahHanlon.com for anything, any question.
Love it. You're out there on TikTok and she's very, very busy in social media, sharing these gifts with everyone and, answering questions constantly. You give so much of your life to this and, thank you for that. And not just from us, but from everyone. You're an incredible human being, and we really appreciate having you on. So, Deborah Hanlon, thanks again. We will catch you soon.
All operators are busy at this time. Please hold.
Hello? This is not a drill.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
I think we can chalk that one up to an all-timer.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. And I'm so excited for part 3 to dive deeper into the virtual reality. We've talked about we wanted to do the meditation session on Sunday, see what we can kind of experience from that.
If you haven't bought the book yet,
do it.
Meditation.
I think you have to start with buying the book. Really.
Yeah.
Go to her website, send her an email, whatever you have to do. But I think she is a life-altering, not in what she does so much. She helps you get someplace, but knowing her, I feel like I know more than I did before I started talking.
Oh, absolutely.
That was my most enjoyable podcast so far. 100%.
The thought provokingness, provocation. That's the word. the
She
thought
knew you were going to say that.
provocation that you get from having these kind of conversations just starts a a domino effect of everything else that you start analyzing and bringing into perspective.
We're crazy on this one.
I love this.
You were sitting forward, just like kind of was talking about with her. You were dialed in. You were ready to go. Like Jamie was sitting over here, like waiting on a turn to say something. She finally just gave up. She was like, nah. Because
my bad.
Mandy was all over.
It's okay. It's okay because your questions were.
Yeah, they were good.
They were great.
Braden's. I know you think that I'm patronizing you, but your questions were good. Your passion.
I made astute observations.
Yeah, they were great. You should ask them again.
Kind to us.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So
what did you say?
Look her up. You will not be sorry. We'll get her on again.
She's so much cooler than we are.
Yeah. We'll have her on again much sooner than months away.
Yeah, and I don't know how anyone can go through and listen to all of that. There may be things, especially when we get into like the religion portion of it, you may not agree with that, but keep your mind open to other concepts and ideas that you heard and apply it to your own beliefs. That's okay.
I think that's a perfect way to look at this whole episode. Just keep your mind open.
And put your own spin on it.
There's a zillion possibilities.
I think that's the point that she's trying to make all the way around is just possibilities are endless in everything we do.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Deborah. You know what time it is, though.
Whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman. Hey, Mr. Postman, whoa, yeah. Please, Mr. Postman. Whoa, yeah.
Can you just check the effing mail?
This week in the mailbag, Leslie here says, why do you think you get along so well as co-parents? Any advice?
I think our ability to laugh, and I mean, we say that we go back to it 100 times, and I feel like maybe it's a little annoying, but our ability to take everything lightly, our teasing, and we accept our own faults. We accept the things that we do, the silly stuff, the wrong stuff, all of it, and we're able to make fun of it and just enjoy each other's time and company.
And I'll tell you, the last podcast, I thought Amanda was mad at me, so I stayed away a little bit more. So I did. I thought
she called me and asked me if you were mad at her.
I was mad at the world for no reason.
Thought it was me, so I stayed.
Well, so let me give everyone a little behind the curtains peek.
I didn't come out of the basement.
I'm glad I wasn't here for that.
Well, here's the thing: you were not here because I didn't release the podcast that we created last week.
Oh, it was bad. I was so it was awful.
Yeah. It wasn't I was trying to make it fun. Amanda wasn't having it.
Amanda was not.
No.
And I was taking
Jamie
Amanda's
helped
side.
in no way, shape, or form.
Yep. And then I thought Jamie was mad, and then she didn't come around much, so I was like, uh-oh.
No, I didn't come around much because, you get those feelings that
you're just like, okay,
maybe I should take a step back and let them have some family time.
Well, you're part of the family, though.
She needs to breathe.
Family.
Fun fact.
That bitch about to go off, and it ain't going to be on me.
Yeah.
Fun fact,
Fun fact. Braxton had VIP week this week, so all of his classmates, he got to bring in pictures and talk about, all of his little classmates wrote him letters, and they each asked a question at the end of their letter that they were supposed to ask, something more they wanted to know about him. Half of them said, how many siblings do you have, or how big is your family? Why are there so many people in your family?
Aww.
Because we sent him in with the picture of all of us that we took during the wedding.
With the boys, too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. That's his family. More Merlot for sure asks, love the show. Thank you for taking my mind off my own problems. I guess More Merlot for sure didn't ask. She or he had a statement.
Problem. It's what we do.
Glad we're here for you.
That is why we are here, to take your mind off your own problems.
To be honest, that's why we're here
fun.
as well, is to take our mind off of our own problems.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Have some fun together.
Jasmine57 says, isn't the new wife scared you're going to divorce her too?
No.
Oh, shit.
She's waiting.
I don't know if he's got any more in him,
It's
Jasmine.
all part of the master plan.
Jasmine,
that
I'm not
MFer's going to be broke.
I'm not sure if he's got it in him, Jasmine.
That is,
He's led a rough life.
Kind of child support
Yeah,
there.
I can't do that.
No, he has two choices. He gets to take a very nice, long, probably kind of cold and damp slumber, or he can stay married to me.
Where's that?
In the ground.
In the ground.
I think
ashes
if he
to
left,
ashes, dust to
I think
dust.
if he did something to ditch Amanda, I think all 4 of them then would form together like some crazy Voltron.
3.
ex-wife.
Just 3.
Just 3.
The OG is
2 of them would
staying
fight each
God.
other. And then,
God.
No, you have to have all 4.
If you can make it happen, Brando,
I
go
guess
ahead.
that's what makes it is you'd have to get them. Yeah.
It'd be like the Avengers teaming up again.
Erica 87101. I'm guessing that's a zip code again. Look that up for fun. 87101. Where's that at?
Where's that at? Hold on a second.
Who are your kids most like? It seems like there are a lot of them. Oddly enough,
There are.
There are.
And each
Audrey-
generation of them are alike a lot.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, cool.
New Mexico. Thank you, out west.
Isabel is a mini Amanda.
Shout
Yo.
out to
Through
the
and through.
ABQ.
My God.
Audrey is a mini Jamie through and through. Piper, that's up for debate. Garrett is a mini Denny 1,000,000%, and it pisses everyone off.
Definitely.
Who are you?
I'm Braden. Nice to meet you.
I created you. You were the fastest swimmer that day.
Actually, so you and Garrett are not as much alike as everybody likes to think. Like, you guys might like have the same tendencies, but
They
I would
look
like to
the
think
same.
that you and I are wired more similar.
I will tell you, Izzy is Amanda. I had Izzy.
I already said that, damn it.
I know, but I had Izzy yesterday, and we went to dinner, and my mom said, "Wow, she looks just like Amanda." And then my aunt, who's never met, she's got to look like her mom, doesn't she? And I was like, "Oh,
Wait a
she
minute.
does,
Was she insinuating I'm not handsome?
probably." And I said, "Oh, she does." And I'm just kidding, she wasn't. And we were at dinner, and she was just loud and talking, and oh my gosh,
So that was when she was more like you.
probably. But she's funny.
She is funny as
She
shit.
is like one of my best friends.
She is funny.
I love her little noise. I could say, like, I'll get like a little bit out of her, and then I'll be like, "Easy belly." She'll go, "Wah." That's my favorite noise
Did you hear
I've
her
ever
in the
heard.
car? She said, "Aunt James, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you, Aunt James.
I see you.
I do not get words. I just get, Baden. And that's my favorite noise that I hear because I make her do it. I'm like, "Easy belly, and she does it right back to me. And then she does this hand thing. But
she's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy L asks, that's another statement. It's not a question. I appreciate the hell out of this podcast. Thank you. You're welcome,
You're
Jimmy
welcome,
L.
dude.
Cool, Jimmy. Thanks.
Take it easy,
Thanks,
champ.
Jimmy
Thanks
L.
for your contribution.
Hey.
No, we
hell
do. We just like
Hey.
questions.
Out of you.
Ask us questions.
Sir.
Want to know things.
Mandy's not in an
I
appreciative
want
mood.
you to know I appreciate just shout outs because we work
Yeah.
very hard on this
Heck
podcast.
yeah.
At least one
You
of
know
us
what?
does.
If you care enough just to like literally open up our email and just drop us a line just to say, I appreciate you guys. That's freaking awesome that you took time out of your day to do that.
Mandy's
Most of the
not
people
very
on this show
badass.
won't even take time out to
Thank you.
listen to the goddamn show.
I listen
That's
to
for
it.
sure.
Shit.
Jamie, give
Hey,
us a
you know
final.
what?
Oh, hold on.
I'll have you know, just so you know, this podcast, this particular one. Now, as you'll recall, I did actually listen to this one when it
You
came
did.
out.
And your pop filter didn't work this time, but keep going.
And do I need to scoot back a little bit? It's getting late, so I'm nodding off
falling
towards
asleep?
the mic. But no, this one on the way home today from work popped in that old episode, re-listened to the whole thing just so I'd be
Look at you.
Here's the funny thing. You didn't have
You
to
didn't have
listen
to
to
do
the old
that.
one.
That's
It
what
was
we
last
posted
week's.
last week.
Oh, was it? I went back and
He went all the way back.
You guys posted
shows
the
you.
Deborah Hanlon one for last week?
Yeah.
Dude, I scrolled
That's
all the way
funny.
back as I was driving.
We just made fun of him. Jamie, give us final thought.
Deborah, thank you so much for opening our minds. You're amazing. We can't wait to have you back, and I am excited.
Me too. Braden, final thought.
Thank you, Deborah. It was a pleasure. Everyone check on your dogs tonight and hug them a little tighter.
No kidding.
Brandon
found
is still
yours,
checking
Brandon?
on his dog Dallas.
He said he was right there beside him.
Yeah, but
He walked by me just a few minutes
well,
ago.
that, he was on the way out the back door. He was telling you bye.
I'm kind of nervous. I don't know. That's the only thing I got. That's the only nugget I got. I'm nervous. I'm like, what?
Mandy, give us final thought.
Will you stop?
I will
I didn't even
not.
get a final thought.
Oh,
Not yet,
you're
you're not
last,
up.
homie.
Not up.
Do you not know the order we go in?
On the last one.
Deborah, thank you so much for the information. I could always pick your brain.
Again with the word information.
That's a lot of good information.
Great information.
All right, I'm done.
Sorry.
Oh, Mandy has went internal.
Yep, and Jamie pissed her off too for laughing.
I'm sorry. No, I said it.
Awesome.
Brandon, give his final thought.
Hey, yeah, great episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being part of it. Can't wait to have her back on again. Deborah was awesome. And again, everybody that writes us and asks questions or just shouts us out or says anything at all, thank you so much. Thanks for listening. That's why we do this, just to have some fun and make some connections out there. So hopefully we can do it again soon. I'm going to try to stay awake and be here more.
You're doing a great job at that.
I'm not on second shifts for like a month, so I should be here for several weeks in a row.
Well, at least have you for 2 of those. I can feel it.
I'm going to do it.
My final thought, thank you. I reiterate what Brandon said. Thank you for sending in the correspondence. It's nice to hear, how people feel. Thank you. Big thank you to Deborah for coming back on. And it's fun for me to see someone actually, looking back at us that is really enjoying the conversation. That's why I do this.
And not just me that's over here super excited.
Yeah. You could tell it. I talk about it a little bit in there, but it's really incredible, and I'm so glad she's been on. Anyway, just like always, head on over to thankgodcancersavedourdivorce.com. There'll be more about us there.
Wait a minute.
Let us know what you think. Do you have any questions for Deborah? And Chico doesn't live, but Dallas might.
Y'all crazy bitch.
R-D-I-V-O-R-C-E. You gotta fight!
Well, we're finally updating this part of the outro. Find us at thankgodcancersavedourdivorce.com. Where else can they find us, Jamie?
You can search on Facebook for Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if you @TGCSOD.
What's that stand for?
Thank God Cancer Saved Our Divorce.
TGCSOD.
Correct.
That's weird. That actually kind of lines up.
It does.
We'll take it. Thanks.